than 2,000 years. During pre-Christian Celtic times in Europe, witches celebrated the earth and prayed to the forces of nature. Witches were skilled with herbs and potions and were sought out as wise healers.
They had a touch, which was just deemed to be healing, the way people today be seen as having a healing touch.
But just as these skilled practitioners were revered, they were also feared.
Now, there's a very interesting paradox about healing. The power to heal is also the power to inflict damage on you.
During the early years of Christianity and the Middle Ages, witchcraft remained popular among common people. In Europe, witches peacefully coexisted with Christians.
People who have a very sick baby and somebody claims to be able to heal that baby through supernatural means, they're not going to ask too many questions about your credentials. So as long as the church did not bother to actually actively prosecute the people who are doing this, but simply tried to confine themselves to warning ordinary Christians to stay away from them, the effects are minimal to zero.
In 1231, the Roman Catholic Church formed the Holy Inquisition to apprehend heretics or non-believers. Throughout the 13th century, Christian authorities increasingly disapproved of witchcraft. They believed that witches worshipped the devil. In 1320, Pope John XXII expanded the Inquisition to include the persecution of those believed to be witches.
It takes that long to transpose the assumption that heretics are in league with the devil onto saying that supernatural magicians are necessarily in league with the devil and are therefore just as dangerous as organized heretics.
Throughout the 14th century, witch hunters actively pursued those so-called devil worshippers. Thousands, mostly women, were hanged or burned at the stake. Then in 1486, two Dominican monks published the Malleus Maleficarum, the hammer of the witches.
The Malleus Maleficarum is the first and by far the most famous work in the literature of witchcraft that specifically targets women.
One of those targeted was a woman named Walpurga Hausmannen. She lived in the town of Dillingen, Germany, in 1587. Walpurga had been a licensed midwife for 19 years. When a series of infant deaths occurred, Walpurga came under suspicion of being a witch.
The thing that would cause suspicion against a midwife is, I think, a birth that appears normal and natural, and then turns really bad, where the child dies without a rational explanation. Baby who's born malformed and dies, there's a rational explanation.
Local authorities arrested Walpurga. Under severe torture, she made a dramatic confession of murdering 43 children and sucking their blood like a vampire.
The torture would only stop when she agreed to confess to what people charged her with.
Walpurga was sentenced to death. She was burned alive at the stake.